Johnny Fontana, half amazing TV, half amazing discussions. Today we're going to be talking about booking agencies and the relationships with DJs, right?
We're just some men that's on the mic, and when we rock up on the mic, we rock the mic.
The biggest problem today is the lack of development of artists and people within companies that passionately, and outside of companies, managers, people inside of record labels that will passionately fight for their artists. I could never have signed Prince today in this atmosphere. Record labels, the record labels should be developing artists. That's their business, not bringing it to them on a silver platter. Because what happens is you have an A&R man at a record label, A&R person at a record label, and they're not being groomed and developed, because if they sign the XYZ Act and that act doesn't make it, they're out of a job. It's like instantaneous. It's the McDonald's.
As some of you may or may not know, I have started to consult booking agencies, okay, for various reasons, and one of them being because of just failure to develop their DJs, and that's one of the main issues. Second issue is mispairing of their act, and it's sort of it's a tricky subject. So let me break down everything for you. All right, as you know, a lot of you know and understand that I have my trickle down effect theory, of which everything starts from here, and the results, okay, just basically run downhill. So whatever you have at the bottom is a result of this, okay, and then it all just comes down. So let's start from the beginning. Technology. That's basically where we're at, where people consume and create music much differently than before. All right, I mean, drastically has changed the landscape of how we produce and how we listen to and process and consume music. Everyone. So as a result of the ease of making music, everyone now can make music, and everyone now can promote their music, and everyone now can consume the music as easily. Now, I'm not taking away from the skills. I'm not one of those people that are just going to say, oh well, yeah, anyone can do it, so any kid can put on Fruity Loops or any software to create music. No, I'm actually the opposite in saying that no, you actually have to have skills in order to use Fruity Loops and know how to create, or even take samples and put them together and use chains and plugins and mix and master. Like, you have to, like, there's a lot of individuals that know how to use this, and they turn out awesome material, okay? So you have to have some IQ, which is the intellectual and capacity to create this music. So I'm not taking anything away from technology and people using it. However, it has allowed more people now from various parts, okay, because of not only the ease but the entry cost. It doesn't cost a lot. Same way that I'm making this video, it doesn't cost a lot to put your stuff out there, to promote it. Same way it doesn't cost now for people to now read this or watch this video. You're watching it for free. Same way you're listening to music, whatever. However, same thing with any other genre. People now listen to and purchase singles and 2-3 tracks at a time rather than mixes or albums or compilations, okay? So that's how we consume. We no longer have to rely on nightclubs or venues in order to hear, music. We get it through YouTube, through iTunes, through Spotify, SoundCloud, Mixcloud, and all these platforms, okay? Quickly, freely. So now, trickle down effect, people realize this and say, hey, you know what? This is the only way that I can get my stuff listened to. People are not listening to mixes or or entire CDs as much. They want singles and stuff like that. So, and in order for me to now get my bookings, because people are saying, hey, the only way you can get booked as a DJ is to make music, and the only way you can get followers is to create music and all this stuff. Artists now are taking that route and creating music and not spending as much time with the DJ aspect. Trickle down effect, that's just the process, okay? Doesn't matter where we are right now. The fact of the matter is that the momentum is going, okay? If you're gonna stop it, you have to stop it at the opening, at the womb, okay? You can't stop it in midpoint, because the momentum is at its peak right now. So now you have all of this. Producers, artists, whatever, they skip the actual DJ part and the fundamentals of that, and they've gone straight to production. Now you have the promoters at venues. They need artists, they need DJs to fill up their venues, okay? It's no longer about the DJ and then the journey and everything else. It's now about how much people I can get into my crowd, because everything else is expensive and this or whatever, so they need to find a way. Boom, like I said, trickle down effect. So now, what's the best way to get people in? You have to promote. How do you promote? You got to get as many people to hear the most popular acts, okay? So you're gonna get the popular local DJs with the most followers, most, whatever. So as a DJ, you now have to do your promotions, get your stuff online, have many views, have many followers, friends, and all this kind of engagement in order for you to be part of the system. So now you're part of that system. You're happy. Boom.
How do I feel about the concepts of the audience becoming the artist? I laugh at it. What am I supposed to think about it? It's absurd. I like the idea of interactive art, as long as it's controlled from above, as long as the artist knows what they're doing, as long as there is a clear separation between the artist and the audience. When you fall into the trap of confusing the artist and the audience, when you believe that the audience knows more than the artist, is more authoritative, is more creative, is more talented, then art ends. Then you have something else. You have cacophony. When you leave everything to the crowd, when everything becomes democratized, where everything is determined by number of clicks, you're by definition undermining the seriousness of the artistic endeavor.
But there is no development, because you are now into the system where you are playing to a crowd based on the sound, not necessarily, a crowd that connects with you as a DJ and as artist, but they're just there because of the sound.
Like nobody knows Redman in my world, and I'm surprised.
In your new world,
yeah, and that's crazy.
nuts. Now in your old,
what? Like I played one Redman record in Vegas, and people were like, I was like, what?
No.
Would you play Time
for Some Action?
Yeah,
No, I played like Dark Wilder with Method Man.
You played the Rock Wilder and they didn't wild out?
No.
I swear to God.
It's
yo,
weird
I was
for
like,
me.
yo,
I guess I know why I'm not getting booked in Vegas. Because I would think the Rock Wilder would be a pretty safe bet at nearly any party.
I was like so surprised. Like
I played Rock Wilder at a wedding the other day. Rang off. It was a New York wedding.
Now people don't go to clubs now for the music; they go there for the sound. That's why when you go on Yelp or you go to any review site, people will say, "Oh yeah, if you want to go to listen to techno, this is the best place to listen to deep house. This is the best place to listen to EDM." People don't really talk about individual artists on a personal level. I'm talking about regular folks. Okay, 80% of the population. I'm not talking about the DJs or the ones that are always following the niche types. I'm not talking about those people. I'm talking about general 9-to-5ers that just wake up, that don't go to clubs on a regular and decide I'm going to go to a club today. Those people, they don't know who the artists are. So they're basically saying, hey, if you want to listen to deep house, go here. If you want to listen to EDM, pardon me. It's always with these noise whenever I'm on a mic. Pardon me. So now, let me get back to my train of thought. Okay, so it's no longer about the music, it's about the sound, okay? So if you want to hear EDM, you go to this club. If you want to hear, such and such, you don't really talk about the local hero, coming in and so forth. So now what does that mean? It means that your club is by default. A lot of these main venues now are default artists, especially even if you have like main acts, whatever, that people don't even know who the main act is. They just know that, hey, there's a main act coming because of the hype, all right? And then they buy their tickets because, you have to purchase online or what have you. And people are there because of the tech house sound, the deep house sound, or EDM sound, and they go there for the actual, the hype of whatever that it's selling. But they know that it's going to be like that every week. Okay, so it's like someone comes to town, hey, where's the best place to go tonight? Oh, you can go to Live. You can go to Mansion. We don't really care who's a DJ. That's just the place to go because that Saturday night, that place is always packed. Or, I want to go listen to some house music. Where can I go? Oh, yeah, go to that place because that's always going to be packed. That's always packed on Saturday nights. It's got some good DJs. We don't know. Oh, yeah, it's got some good EDM. It's got the good deep house. That's basically where we're at. So now you come to the point where the DJs now are doing well with their production, but they're not really doing well with their DJing because they haven't really practiced that much. So now they get thrown in the mix.
But their first couple of sets, and when I heard Axel play a couple of times, the first times I was like, oh my goodness, he doesn't even know this. He makes awesome tracks, but what the hell is going on? This is the vibe nowadays. I mean, guys like Avicii as well, you have a couple of big tracks, and all of a sudden, you're on a festival's stadium. And this is funny, I was DJing after Alesso in Brazil about half a year ago, and he was nervous. It was a crowd of 50,000 people in front of him, and he came up to me and he's like, dude, I can't do this. I'm so nervous. Like, look at you. You're so chill. How can you cope? And I was like, dude, I've been doing this for like 15 years. And you? And he's like, I've only been DJing for eight months now. And I was scared. When I was DJing for 8 months, I couldn't even, how to say that? In Dutch, we have a saying.
Spin back?
Yeah, I couldn't even hold the needle straight in front of a crowd, let alone be shaking like that. And kids are literally thrown onto a festival stage and try and do it. It's actually really scary.
So there's no development. Now you have the booking agencies now are grabbing a lot of these artists that make top hits because they get the connections, with these, major labels or their friends or what have you. And now they aren't even developing them themselves. They're just putting them in there, putting them on festivals, and the DJs are like, hey, I want to be DJing for whatever, and it doesn't really matter as long as you can, give the crowd, what they want based on what they heard online quickly, okay? So now, going from there, you have booking agencies that are working with the local communities, the local promoters, and saying, hey, I got a DJ, I want a DJ, or, you have now where you have DJs that are promoters that are bidding for different DJs because of, they're more expensive, they're less expensive, they're more popular, and you have all that stuff in between. I'm not going to get too much into that, but just briefly cover that. So now you have these artists where they're being booked at these venues by default because much of the crowd is by default because of the sound. So now you have a DJ that plays tech house. He's going to be put into that club or venue because it has a tech house sound, because tech house is the main ingredient for the month. So boom, he gets to go tech house. But the problem now that we're having is you have promoters that don't know what they're doing. They're not skillful. They're just there just to pack in people. So then they'll bring in a prime example, and it happened to a few clubs that I know recently, but I'll give you a prime example of one recently that ended up falling or changing their nights. You have a venue by which the booking agency supplies them a certain act for their first night, their opening night, EDM act. Boom, nice. Second week or the second time the event comes along, 2 weeks after, another EDM, same, type of crowd, same type of sound. Commercial, high-end, big room stuff. So now you're starting to develop an audience, a crowd, an identity. Now all of a sudden you take another act, which is kind of like off, but it's like, hey, you know what? You want to take risks? That's fine. Now all of a sudden, another DJ wants to come in and say, hey, you know what? I'm a DJ. I know guys, man. I want to be underground, and I want to invite, DJs to come in to spin so I can open up for them. Not even thinking about the audience, not even thinking about the identity of the club. They're just thinking about for themselves and underground and all this kind of stuff. We're gonna get a techno guy because that's what's popping right now. So techno guy comes in, place is packed because he knows the booking agency, local booking agency. Booking agency doesn't give a what of the fact that they just had 3 EDM or commercial acts prior. They just know that this group asked them for a techno DJ, so they're gonna give them the techno DJ. So what? They sell tickets, promoters happy, booking agency, he makes his percentage, and the DJ, he gets booked, he gets exposure, because now he can post on his Facebook, hey, I was in such and such city, so he looks good. Meanwhile, you have him performing to a crowd that has been conditioned for more big room sound. He shows up, there's no relationship between him and the DJ, or between the DJ and the crowd, and it's just basically you just show up. So there's nothing there. Is you show up to a by default crowd and you move on to the next gig. That's what's happening. So now, as a result of all this kind of nonsense, up and down, no identity, because of the fact that the booking agencies, they were able to supply them with 2 types of main acts, main room commercial acts, but they don't have any more of those acts. So then they just supply them with the techno. Instead, they should say, you know what? I've been feeding you the EDM or the commercial acts. I'm gonna continue feeding them that so that you can actually continue with your identity, because we can take a risk, maybe we can do something, on an off night, but for your main night, let's keep with this because that's your key audience and you started with that. Let's not, disrupt, the pattern now. We'll do that some other time, right? And let's not go from extreme commercial to techno. Let's go something in between. At least we can figure out. So maybe he may play some techno, or he may, play some whatever, but at least to have, some wiggle room, right? No, go from commercial to that, because they don't have any more of this sound. So instead of this saying, you know what, let me refer you to this booking agency, and then you cut a deal, you get, how some other booking agencies do. I'm gonna refer you, it's like any other business. I'm gonna refer you to this group because of the fact that they have more of the sound that you're looking for. If they do referral, they get a cut. Everyone's happy because now you are able to keep, you may take a risk, but at least you're able to keep your core audience, expose them to other sounds while, taking a risk, but at the same time, not going off the deep end. You still make your money. The booking agency makes their percentage, and the DJ still has now a relationship between them and DJ, and now the art form, the DJ, the club culture, the sound doesn't suffer. But right now it's suffering because these people don't think like that, and it's just all about the quick money. And I know it doesn't always work out like that. So as I explained it so easily, the reason why is because of the whole trickle down effect. So that's what I'm saying. So you can't just stop it at mid motion because of the momentum. So you have to stop it somewhere here. And right now it's kind of hard because everyone's making money, everyone's doing that, and you have a lot of people that are that don't have the experience, and you have these promotion groups that are controlling the venue, and the owners are hands off. So you don't have anyone in between, like a music manager that can be the buffer to say, hey, listen, let me see this let me talk to this promoter. Who are you bringing in? It's like someone who's building a building. They hire contractors. The contractors now bring in the workers. If the building owner just says, oh, bring your contractors, and I'm not going to verify your workers, I'm not going to verify who you're bringing in, then something happens, guess what? It's still the responsibility of the owner. Again, it's all relative. It's all a business. But people don't think of it like that. So now you don't have the music manager. You have the promotion groups that are running around. So now things don't work out. The promotion groups run out. They leave, and now you're back to nothing. So now what happens to that club recently? They had to now end up going to another venue, a smaller venue, but it's got another crowd, which is a totally different crowd, and it's also by default because that's just a place where people go on weekends to enjoy themselves on a Saturday night, because that's just a known spot. But it's not really known for cutting edge music and so forth. So that's what's happening. So the tip is, for the young DJs or guys, even established veterans that are looking for booking agencies, do your research. Find out how many people you have, or that the booking agency has, that has also your sound. Because if not, you're gonna end up being thrown in areas where, listen, it's not even my stuff. You also now have to do your research. Don't rely on the booking agencies to research the venue. Because now you're gonna end up now being in some venue where it's 18 plus, they don't understand your music, and you're just there showing up and playing music to a bunch of 18-year-olds that really don't understand what you're doing, but they're just there just for the sake of it. I mean, if that's what you really want to do, then you shouldn't be DJing. This is not for you. You should be having your own little party listening sessions. But if you really want to be a DJ, you need to do your groundwork and not rely on, your booking agencies to do these things, because they're inexperienced. They're just about the money. Many of them, not all, but many of them. And also a lot of DJs are just about that. So think about what I just said, right? And it's because it's an issue, because I get a lot of phone calls from guys that tell me, bro, like, I ended up at this place and they had nothing to do with what I do. They're just by default crowd, and they're starting to realize that, because booking agencies, they don't have any backups. So just take that in mind. If you have any questions, email me at info@. Pardon me. People think that we're some third world country, huh? Anyway, Johnny Fontana, half amazing TV, half amazing discussions. Again, a lot of these booking agencies, they don't care. They're not developing you. They don't develop. And so you have to do your own research. Not only do you have to do your own hustling in order for them to see you, but you have to now research them. Find out how many other acts, are similar to you. And find out the different venues and find out the relationships. Have them give you a list of relationships or clubs, the contacts that they have, so you can figure out, and you can do your own research and be like, you know what? I want this venue. I want that venue. Because since they're not going to do that for you. And that's the reason, that's what I'm there for. I'm consulting booking agencies, and I'm looking at their DJs. Okay, you know what? Let me your list. I think you should be going there. And then I talk to the DJ, and we discuss it. That's development. And if you want to say, you know what, I want to take a risk, then I start giving them information as far as what kind of music he should be playing, how he should be playing based on the venue and pairing and so forth. That's how we do things, right? Because I'm just a consultant, but I'm not a booking agency. I don't do that. And me myself, I'm not a big guy running around, because I'm like a Phil Jackson. I'll make the DJ, I'll make the team, I'll make the player, but I'm not going to be a champion myself, right? That's just how it works. Someone's got to be the coach, right? Johnny Fontana, half amazing TV, and we out.
Okay. We'll do it live. Fuck it. Fucking thing sucks.